Hello there YTVs, and welcome back to another of Carrie's Health Matters. In the last few series we've been looking at posture and what constitutes good posture and good movements, as in standing and sitting with a rule of 90. Just keep practicing with those. They are important and they will save your body and your back a great deal of problems from having to see people like me in the future. I'm going to continue on now by looking at different types of bad posture, and then I'm going to show you how you can best correct that. Okay, I'm going to show you a template now, and that's something that's on here, and it's got several types of posture that's on there. Now looking at the first one here, okay, and that's this one here, this constitutes good posture, all right? Looking at the line that goes across and down it, which is this bit here, okay, this is the gravity, line of gravity, and you can see quite clearly that the head is even either side of the line. The line goes through the arm, as we saw on Justin, goes right the way down and ends from the knee right through the feet. So the weight is even with gravity. Okay, that constitutes what's known as, at the bottom it says, good, normal, athletic posture. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for. Now the next type of posture is known as lordosis. This is when the head juts forward and produces the body's weight over to one side here. So to counterbalance it, it sticks the back part out here, which then means that it's uneven down below here, so it juts the forward of the stomach, and that means that there's too much of there, so it makes the back hollow, and that's basically another name for it. It's known as hollow back. Okay, the bottom sticks out slightly, and it means that the weight transference is just below the knee, so a lot of stress is being put on the knee, and the ball of the foot really does have to take a huge amount of the pressure to even things up. Okay, so that's known as lordosis. Okay, moving on to the next one then, we're looking at this one here, which is known as sway back. Reasons being is because the person stands with their back way back, and in order to counteract that part, has to put the tummy way forward. Everything has to be equal to the line of gravity. So if you've got an awful lot that side, you'll have an awful lot this side. And you have. And look at the lineage of the back. I would hate to see this person's x-rays. Incredible. They must have huge pain in that low back. The line falls right the way down here, and this sort of person is bound to have problems in the shin. If they're a runner or an athlete, they're going to have things like shin splints and goodness knows what appearing because the weight is so unevenly transferred. And look at the ankle, they're bound to have ankle problems too. Have a look and see if you can see people around that are like this, if not in your own family or indeed you, and see how you might correct it. Let's move on to the next one now. We're looking at this chap here. Okay, now his head's even, that's absolutely fine, but he's actually got no shoulders at all at the back, and is completely and utterly flat. Okay, known commonly enough, funnily enough, as flat back. But he lurches quite forward. He's like a very stick insect that's standing right rigid and leaning forward. Can you see where the weight transfers onto well below the knee and again through the ankle? So all of his weight is transferred onto the front part, and very, very flat back. Moving on to the next one is known as kyphosis, round shoulders. There's two types that cause round shoulders. The first one is the head that lurches hugely forward. Look at this. The line of gravity falls well behind the ear, so we've only got this portion of the head that's behind it, but that portion of the head that is in front. Counterbalancing, remember, we've got all of this at the back, but look where the shoulders are, well forward. You can't see any chest at all. So this person has rounded his shoulders to give the appearance that he's got a rounded back. and the whole of his body lurches forward. Look where the line falls. It doesn't even fall around his knees. It's well outside the knees, putting so much stress load on those on the feet, it would almost cause his arches to drop. And moving on to the last one, known as Kypho's 2 position. That is this little chap here, whose equal head balance is almost equal, but he's allowing his back to lean right back. So to counterbalance it, we've got a tummy going forward. And then the weight distribution right the way out through here again. So all of his quad muscles are really being put through it because he's constantly using them and not the hamstrings at the back here. So these ones then are the problems that we face with the different types of posture. How then can we best correct it? Well, let's have a look. I'm going to move the camera in a moment, just significantly so that we can see what we're doing. Okay? Alright. Then I'm going to take the sound and just move it round here, and then I can show you. Alright. Now find yourself a space, and remembering what we said with Justin, the best correct is just feet slightly apart and pointing forwards. Okay, that's your position, that's your starting position. Okay. Now the most important thing when you're doing anything is to have your chin back, your shoulders back and your arms down by the side. Try to obtain as much of the correct posture as you can. Stand nice and tall as if you've got a piece of string going through you. So no lurching forward. That's your round shoulders, your kyphos. There's your sway back. Okay, there's your lordosis. There's all sorts of things, but what we want to do is try and get rid of those. So stand nice and tall, chin back, shoulders back, and arms casually by your side. Now, in that position, with your feet forward, I want you to lock your body tight and just start to rock like a human pendulum, backwards and forwards. Rock onto your toes, back onto your heels. Keep the body as stiff as you can. We're not bending the top half or bending the knees. The whole of the body becomes a human pendulum. Just rock backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So you're like a human pendulum. Okay, just keep going. Toes and heel. Now get used to feeling the body weight and make your brain aware of where you are in time and space. It's called proprioception. So you're looking at my body's over my toes, my heels. And then I want you to stop somewhere in the middle. Okay, where your balance is between your toes and your heels. So you can feel it nice and even. That to me is centre. And I hope and pray that I am as perpendicular as possible. And there's my rule of 90. I should be 90 degrees to the floor. Okay, that should be perfect posture. Get someone to have a look at you so that you can see whether or not you are actually in perfect posture. And if you feel it is so, then that's the most important thing, is now to tell your brain that's where you want to stand. That's it. And if you happen to develop problems because you're standing in that position, then tune in over the coming weeks, because I will be telling you some of the reasons that are likely to be the cause of those problems. It may be that you can't physically stand up against gravity and that you have a problem, which we'll sort out in a few coming sessions that's coming along. But just keep trying to maintain your posture and correct it. Next week I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a thing called the CPIR technique, which I also think is very important to improve the quality of your life before we go on to correcting the posture. All right? So until then, take care.